The highest capital city in the pre-modern world sat 12,000 feet above the sea. Up there in the clouds, a civilization built temples lined with solid gold. When the sun struck those walls, the city blazed like a second sunrise. Gold-covered doorways, golden statues filled the plazas, and a golden disk worshipped the sun. A garden of solid gold and silver plants grew inside the temple complex. The people who built this empire were the Inca, lords of the Andes. In just 1 century, they carved the largest empire in the pre-Columbian Americas. Their domain stretched 2,500 miles along the spine of South America. Mountain peaks, coastal deserts, and Amazonian jungle all answered to a single ruler. No other empire in human history was built at such extreme altitude. Stone cities clung to the edges of sheer cliffs thousands of feet above the valley floor. Terraces carved into near vertical mountainsides turned impossible slopes into farmland. The Incas built 25,000 miles of road through the world's hardest terrain. Suspension bridges woven from grass fibers swayed hundreds of feet above raging rivers. Messengers sprinted in relay across the road network, covering 150 miles a day. A message could travel from the northern frontier to Cusco faster than any horse. Every structure was built without the wheel, without iron tools, and without written language. The Incas fitted stone blocks so tightly that a razor blade cannot slide between them. Their walls have survived 5 centuries of earthquakes that leveled every Spanish building around them. The secret was in the trapezoid shape and the slight inward lean of every single stone. At the center of this empire stood Cusco, the navel of the world. The Temple of the Sun in Cusco was the most sacred place in the Inca universe. Its walls were covered in gold plates, thicker than a man's thumb. Inside, mummified emperors sat on golden thrones, still ruling in death. Priests tended to them daily, offering food and speaking to them as living gods. The Sapa Inca, the emperor himself, was believed to be descended directly from the sun. He ate from gold plates. His vicua plus wool clothes were never worn twice. Then, in 1532, 168 Spaniards landed on the Peruvian coast. They brought horses, steel, and a hunger for gold no civilization had ever seen. The Inca emperor Atahualpa agreed to meet them in the plaza of the mountain town Cajamarca. Thousands of unarmed Inca nobles and warriors filled every inch of the great square. A Spanish priest handed the emperor a Bible. He demanded submission to a god Atahualpa had never heard of. Atahualpa held the book to his ear, heard nothing, and threw it to the ground. In that single moment, the trap was sprung and the massacre began. Cannons and cavalry tore through the packed plaza for 2 hours without stopping. Thousands lay dead in the courtyard, while Atahualpa was dragged away in chains. The emperor offered a ransom that still defies belief to this day. He promised to fill a room with gold as high as his outstretched hand. For months, Inca messengers carried treasures from every corner of the empire. Gold plates were pried from temple walls and melted into ingots. The room filled with over 6 tons of gold and twice that weight in silver. The Spaniards took the treasure and executed Atahualpa anyway on a summer afternoon. Without their god emperor, the Inca Empire fell apart in a single generation. Diseases the Inca had never encountered swept across the roads the empire itself had built. Smallpox reached Cusco before any Spanish soldier even set foot inside the city walls. The same roads that connected the empire now carried death faster than anyone could outrun it. By 1572, the last Inca emperor was beheaded in the main plaza of Cusco. The empire that had built a mountain of gold was officially erased from the map, but the Inca did not simply vanish without a trace. 10 million people today speak Quechua, the language of the Inca Empire. High in the Andes, farmers still plant corn on terraces built 500 years ago. Fiestas honor Pachamama, the Earth Mother, just as they did before the Spanish arrived. The stone walls of Sacsayhuaman stand unbroken after half a millennium of earthquakes. Machu Picchu hid in the clouds until a farmer led a historian there in 1911. The Spanish never found it. Today, it is the most famous ruins in the Western Hemisphere. No photograph prepares you for the moment you round the ridge and see it. A city of polished stone terraces floating in a sea of mist above the Urubamba River. The stonework is so perfect the mountains look like they were shaped by human hands. The Inca believed their civilization would last until the end of time itself. They built their empire to be eternal, and in some ways they were right. Their stone still stands, while the Spanish colonial buildings have crumbled to dust around them. The mountain of gold is gone, but the mountain of stone endures as a silent monument. It asks us the same question every abandoned civilization asks in the stillness of its ruins. How does something so vast and so powerful fall so completely and so fast?